Welcome to the Pocatello Business Podcast, the only Pocatello podcast focused on providing profits for Pocatello people. If you love our town and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Pocatello Business Podcast with your friend, host, all-around great guy, and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Pocatello Business Podcast. With me, personal friend and all-around just good dude, commercial loan officer at Citizens Community Bank. Did I say that right, or is it Community Citizens?
Citizens Community.
Citizens Community Bank, Brent Gallup. Brent, how you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Before we get into Brent, I got to say that we are sponsored by Pack and Go. If you enjoy having no risk, no worries about getting your stuff into a container or hauling it up a steep incline, call these guys up. They'll deliver a pod right to your house. They'll drop it off. You can load it at ground level. And then whenever you're ready, they just magically come pick it up for you. You're not worried about it at all. They go and store it for you if you need it stored, or they move it to your new location if you need it moved. And it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So if you're looking for a simple solution there, call Pack and Go. Call Darren at 208-339-2229. And if you mention the Pocatello Business Podcast, they'll give you your first month for free if you go in a store, something with them, and they'll just take care of you. So back to Brent. Brent, you've been around the block. You know, you've done a few different things in your life, right?
I have.
So take a minute, I guess, and just tell us about you, your family, your hobbies, and what's brought you to now commercial lending.
Well, I am as much a native of the Pocatello area as you can be. I moved here when I was 2 from Salt Lake, so I don't remember having a lot of say in that move. I probably just followed the food. I've graduated from local high school, Highland High School, graduated from ISU, married a local girl, and we just felt this was an awesome place, as many people do, to raise this family of 5 that we have, and even got one that's going to make me a grandpa soon. So
wow,
we're kind of feeling the pinch of the age now because of that a little bit. But all about when I was in college, I got into residential mortgage lending and did that for 16 years. I took a 2-year sabbatical from that and then re-entered banking, actually in collections and consumer loans, and then was given an opportunity to become a commercial loan officer for Citizens, and been doing that for just over 3 years now. And it's eventful. There's lots of different philosophies in lending and different ways you look at the same goal. How do we get somebody from where they are to where they want to be within the framework of what the bank requires or auditors or guidelines? And so, and it's interesting. No two situations are the same. That's what I kind of love about it. The problem solving nature of loans is kind of fun. So
Sure. And Brent and I were just talking a little bit off air. There is a difference. There's Brent says there's 2 different camps really. And I like it too, because you know, there's a camp that you've got to run as a business owner of, okay, I've got to, you know, limit my tax exposure. And then the other camp is, okay, I've still got to qualify for loans and show my bank that I'm still profitable and I'm not just some hobo on the street that's not showing any profit. So as business owners and as managers, everything else, we have to do this kind of a dance. But yeah, so Brent, there's a few questions that I know that's come up through some of our listeners. And I thought it'd be interesting to have you on and to get your perspective of it. And the first one I would say is one of the questions that one of our listeners asked and one of our guests asked was, you know, what type of loans and what kind of options are out there for business owners looking to grow their business, say, for example, tell me the difference between, there's term loans out there, there's line of credits. What can you give me an example of what they are, what those are, and what you would typically want to use those for?
Okay. Well, so I'll compare just a little bit to maybe something everybody understands. Everybody kind of understands a mortgage on a home or a car loan and a credit card. Mm-hmm. And so those are instruments or tools people use to do just that: buy a house, buy a car, use the credit card rather than cash when you can. In commercial lending, in banking, those same instruments carry over to business. You have lines of credit, you have term loans. So a term loan would probably be more appropriately used if you were buying a long-term asset, real estate, equipment, those type of things, because you want to have a large loan at the front, or the loan to purchase it at the front, and eventually over time buy that back for your business from the bank. Essentially, you don't want to have that asset depreciate and have nothing at the end except loan left on it. Mm-hmm. As opposed to a line of credit where you're going to revolve that. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. You're going to use it in times when, say, you need to buy inventory in the fall so you're prepared to sell it at Christmas or in the springtime. And so that line of credit will go up, but then when you make your sales, that line of credit goes down, and our goal is to have you zero that out once a year. So that it gives you that flexibility to run your business with the way your business works, rather than always having to have that cash on hand.
Sure.
And so revolving line became popular there. We've all heard of the great crash of 2008 when all the foreclosures, and that was some of the problem that happened, was revolving lines of credit or interest-only payments were really being used inappropriately. We were misfinancing people, or people got misfinanced. And then all of a sudden, when you're asked to start making a large principal payment, is a bad deal. So getting your financing right, that's obviously something we want to make sure we do, because your success causes us success.
Yeah, well, that's great. That is great to know and understand those concepts of different loans. And another one would be out there for a line of credit would be to bridge the gap sometimes when, especially as you're starting a business, small business, you come across that, okay, you're doing a net 30 invoicing, you're waiting for those invoices to come in, but you still got to pay your people. So it's helpful to have that for your line of credit as well. So you can just, once you get paid, you pay that back down, and life goes on. So.
Yeah, and an operating line is what we call that, at least. But you got to run your operation and use that line and until people get you paid.
Perfect. No, I love it. I love to see that kind of stuff going on. Now, when people come to you for a loan for their businesses and they're saying, "Hey, we're growing faster than we can hold on, and we just need some extra funds to keep going," can you tell people out there what generally you're looking for to be able to loan or sell money to this to this business?
I think I made that comment once, and maybe you were there too, and laughed that bankers sell money.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got to sell something.
That's right. You sell money.
One of the things that oftentimes we run into, and banks are known for this and notorious for this, we want to see where our collateral position is. We want to see what security we can give so that the bank can be in a position to lend. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times, if a business is seeing that massive upfront growth, and I know, Spencer, you've mentioned experience in this, we have to delve into sometimes SBA government guaranteed type loans. And there's pros and cons to both sides of that. Mm-hmm. The positive side is it helps you get cash that you need to run your business or grow your business, but it also, the trade-off is a lot of times there's fees and restrictions that aren't always awesome for a borrower or a business owner who's really just great at what they do and just needs the money to make it happen. One thing that I know we preach a lot, or I preach a lot, Spencer and I are in a group together, and one of the things I talk about all the time is you got to know your banker. It is so critical to have a relationship. Now, there maybe was a time where that faded away for a little bit or was forgotten, but having that relationship, what makes it when that business owner comes and says, either A, I want to grow my business, or B, Brent, we're going to be short from Friday to Monday. Can you float us through the weekend? That gives you the opportunity with that relationship to make a relationship decision as much as it does, yes, this fits the hard and fast rules that we always follow. You got to have guidelines. You got to have guidelines to run your business and be successful. A bank has guidelines to keep it within the framework that keeps the bank successful. And so, but that relationship, I know I preach it a lot, but it gives me so much opportunity to help people be successful.
I like that too, because I've said this before too. There's certain accountants out there, I have no one in mind, but I know there's people out there because I've met them. That they take the person out of the business and they just look at hard numbers and they don't know how to relate. And
Gotcha.
You like an individual. And I thoroughly believe that in who you choose to be your banker as well. Like you need someone that's going to understand you and understand your relationship with each other and not just see the cold hard numbers and say, well, 1 + 1 doesn't always equal 2, like this it says right here.
But it will.
Yeah, exactly.
It may not equal it now, but it will. That's the goal.
Exactly. So I like that. I like that what you just said there about relationships. So is there anything like is there any just broad percentages of what you're looking for when someone comes with you, maybe a year-to-date P&L and stuff like that? Like just to give these guys a heads up, so when I send them to you and they're saying, hey, we heard you on the Pocatello Business Podcast, I've got my numbers in check, it's going to save you time, going to save them time if they have some understanding of what you're looking for.
I always love the example where somebody says, I made $1 million this year, but I spent 1.1 million to make it. You did awesome. You sold $1 million. We're always looking for, in loans, what is your cash position? Because cash, it's age-old finance. It's number one on the doctrines of finance. Cash is king. Is there cash there to pay the payments after everything else gets paid? And so generally, we're always looking at, is there enough cash there to make the annual payment plus about a 20% cushion? That's just a general rule. Most lenders, it's either a 1.1 or 1.2, 1.3. So 1.1 would be, I'm covering the payment. I owe $100. I paid $100. As a bank, we like to see a little bit of a cushion. We want to see you have $120 to make that payment, because you never know what can happen. As a business owner, you know that more than anybody. Things can turn, equipment breaks down, employees do silly things, shocking. The economy changes, or good old grandpa government gets in our way. There's all kinds of things that can happen. And so we're generally looking for that. We're looking for the business to be profitable and not shy away from if you had a bad year, but a consistent trend line of good or a consistent trend line of bad. Those really speak highly as to what direction the business is heading, as to what risks can be taken as well.
Sure. So, you don't really like, it's nice maybe to see, projections and pro formas and saying, hey, this is what it could be, but but I need to know what it is now.
Well, and not only what it is now, we look back 3 years. What has it done?
Yeah.
What have you done? And if you haven't been in business for 3 years, that's okay. There are other options. There's other lending avenues to guarantee you're secure. Looking at moving forward still, we just may not be at the perfect type or your dream financing yet. We may have to take steps to get to where you want to be. Again, I go back to, that's where that relationship has to matter. Where are we going and where do we want it to go? Or is, me and a coworker, are you only looking for rate? Are you only looking for fees? We can do those type of loans, certainly. We can serve the individual one-time business. But Citizens is built, established in 1997. It's built its reputation on being that community bank and establishing those relationships. So it's one of the things that attracted me to working here is that relationship-based lending.
Okay. No, I like that. I like that. That's one thing I've seen a lot of Citizens as well, is just that it is more about relationships for sure. So, well, good. I like that. I think that's going to be very helpful for people to understand that and what banks are looking for.
Can I touch on one other thing?
Please. No, yeah, please.
I know we've been around the block for a while, and I know you've been in business. I've owned some businesses as well and worked in lending. There's always multiple factors that go into lending. We call them the 5 C's or the this or the that. Really, your credit will always matter.
Sure.
Because your credit's an indication of how are you doing and what have you done and in making your payments. Your character matters. You got to take care of that name. In a day and age where we can see character assassination so fast, you got to take care of that name. It matters.
That's true.
And then obviously cash flow. But I touch on that because as much as a relationship is critical, and I believe everyone should have that personal banker, you've got to take care of all aspects of your business. And one benefit of having somebody that you have that relationship with is they can help you watch out for those things. You know, keeping a perspective when you're looking to grow that business or sell it off, or how can it affect the whole picture rather than just the right here and now. So didn't want to totally cut you off there, but just had that thought.
That's a good thought for sure. And that's a very good, things to help wrap this up a little bit, because there's so much to running a business, and we're not professional bankers, and we need someone to rely on. So, well, that's good. Well, let me take a quick sponsorship timeout, and then we'll finish up with a few more questions, and we'll be done.
Perfect.
So the Pocatello Business Podcast is sponsored also by Dell's Outdoor Advertising. And I'm telling you guys, I have a billboard right now, 4th and Clark. It's pretty standout-ish. It's got a gal yelling on a phone. It's got a quick message about it and a trackable number. And I got a call on it. I got a lead, got a bid from it. I'm telling you guys, these things work. Top of mind awareness is real. Give them a call. Give Rob a call at 208-232-6886. You sign up for 3 months with them, at least 3 months on the billboard. You're going to get your first month for free, or your installation for free if you mention the podcast. So again, give those guys a call. They're great dudes. Kirkham's been a great family and institution here in Pocatello. So Brent, let's go back real quick. I'm trying to think. There's one more thing I want to ask you about banking, but I think it must have fleeted my mind. But before I answer the restaurant, the question that everyone gets, is there anything I didn't ask that I should have?
I know a lot of people here, banks are all about themselves. Banks are about fees. Banks are, I know this is a Pocatello business podcast, and business owners understand charging money, making money. Those are things that are just part of running a business. Mm-hmm. And being professional and dealing with somebody who is local, built up of local people, I think that is pretty huge. So that, when you are paying that fee, it's circulating back into the local economy still. So just a little plug for the local economy and especially Pocatello, which obviously I'm a huge fan of, because given the choice to leave, I didn't. So
that's awesome. I like it. Okay. So Brent, what is your favorite restaurant here locally to eat at?
Oh man, Bamboo Garden.
Oh,
not kidding.
That might be the first one that's been mentioned. So
I'm a big fan of the Chinese.
I like it. I like a little Bamboo Garden in my life. So
yeah,
perfect. What's just a general business locally that you like to spend your money at?
Lowe's.
It's not so local, but
not totally local. I really enjoy. You know what? A local one I like spending my money at. I'm gonna change that. Primetime auctions.
There you go.
I love auctioning, man. It is so much fun.
Yeah, those guys, we've had a lot of experience with them.
Local.
They're great. Yeah, they're good people to deal with. So Perfect.
Yeah.
So Brent, with people that are watching this episode and happy to have this information, they're thinking to themselves, doggone it, Brent's a good dude. Seems like some guy I want to do business with. If they want to come to you and start moving all their business accounts over and doing some loans,
Love it.
how do they get a hold of you?
I am located in Old Town Pocatello at 280 South Arthur in the original Citizens Community Bank branch, the red brick building. I can be reached at my telephone of 208-239-8632, or you can reach out to me on email, but I won't bore with you that, so give me a call.
Perfect.
It's a little painful on that, but yeah, just come see us in Old Town Pocatello. Many have heard of Citizens, but some haven't. So 280 South Arthur in the red brick branch.
Beautiful. Well, Brent, we appreciate having you on the show today. We hope
I really appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, appreciate we'll have you on the show again here, I'm sure, because I'm sure there'll be other questions coming up relating to loans and banking. So it's always good to have a resident guy that we can turn to. So
I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, have a good day. And thanks for everyone that's listening. And until next episode, see ya.
Congratulations on spending a couple minutes getting just a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Pocatello business community. If you are feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.